Alrighty guys, we're back for budget-friendly dinos, and this is a Foundation Standard Brew, and I'm Redcat. Let's briefly go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked, but first things first, this was a suggestion down in the comments, so thank you so much for the suggestion. It's gonna be a fun one. So how are we trying to be budget-friendly here? Well, we're actually rocking Nurturing Bristleback. Has a forest cycling ability for just 2 mana. We're gonna do some rearranging here, because I'll tell you what, getting to 7 mana with the Bristleback is going to be pretty difficult, or to cast this, I should say, right? But either way, it will happen from time to time when it enters. Get a 3/3 green dinosaur creature token as well. And we also have Seismic Monstrosaurs here. It's a 6 mana, 6/5 with trample. You can pay 2 and a red, sacrifice a land, draw a card. Okay, but really, it's in here because of mountain cycling for 2. So we got to do some rearranging. Both of those are only common. We're going to be pairing this with Saheeli's Lattice. This is a 2 mana artifact. When it enters, you may discard a card. If you do, draw 2 cards. Craft with 1 or more dinosaurs for 4 and a red. And it crafts into Master Craft Raptor, which has 4 toughness. It's an artifact creature, which is cool. Its power is equal to the total power of the exiled cards used to craft it. Cool stuff. What it's missing, though, is it doesn't have haste, unfortunately. That's okay. We do have ways to actually give our dinosaurs haste with a couple Palani's Hatchers, which is actually, I have no idea if that's how you pronounce it, first of all, but it's actually a rare, unfortunately. Called it budget-friendly, not 0 rare this time, right? Because we do have rares packed in. But it's a 5 mana, 5/3. Other dinosaurs you control have haste. When Palani's Hatcher enters, you create 2 0/1 green dinosaur egg creature tokens at the beginning of combat on your turn. If you control 1 or more eggs, sacrifice an egg, and then create a 3/3 green dinosaur creature token. Cool stuff, man. So, outside of giving haste to the giant chunky Mastercraft Raptor, we could also have like a Belligerent Yearling on the board too, already ready to attack. So, it's a 2 mana 3/2 with trample, and whenever another dinosaur you control enters, you may have a Belligerent Yearling's base power become equal to that creature's power until end of turn. So if this is already good to go, right, ready to attack, and you activate the craft ability on the Raptor, it comes in with that big old chunk of power, give that power to the Yearling, and swing in with trample as well. Seems pretty decent, actually, huh? So, of course, we have other dinosaurs packed in. We have a couple Itzquinth, nice. We have a couple Giant Cindermaws. At trample, players can't gain life. Okay. Now, guys, I have a lot of honorable mentions that are actually pretty important. Potential trade-outs and stuff. When you actually are trying to play on a budget, then looking at your collection and what you could possibly trade in instead of crafting is going to be very important. So, I'll wait to go over the honorable mentions, though. Give me 1 second, right? We have a couple Pugnacious Hammerskulls too, another rare, but one of these comes with the starter deck. Nice. Same concept with Hulking Raptor. We have a couple of these too. That extra ramp is going to be good. The Ward 2 is always excellent on this as well. One of these come with the Dynamite starter deck. Same concept with the Trumpeting Carnosaur. Great top end, but then also has that discard ability, acts as 3 mana potential removal, right? Another way to get dinosaurs into the grave to potentially craft up with the Saheeli's Lattice as well. One of these comes with the Dynamite starter deck, which I'll actually go show that starter deck. Another one that comes with the starter deck, the Boros starter deck, I don't know the name of it right now, is Bonehoard Dracosaur too. It actually comes with one of these. It's actually going to be a terrific top end here too. So what else do we got packed in, guys? We got some ramp packed in, all 4 Llanowar Elves, beautiful. We got 3 Ixalli's Lorekeeper, that ought to do the thing. We have a Bushwhack in here too. Not too much removal overall, but more ways to grab more land out of the deck outside of the mountain cycle and the forest cycle should be fine and dandy. Also 3 Triumphant Chomps made the cut. Yeah, just more removal. It's going to be important, right? Only 20 total land, but with all those ways to grab land out of the deck list, I think 20 ought to be enough. Commercial District making the cut as a 2 of. One of these actually comes in the Dynamite starter build, or starter deck, right? We have all 4 Bristling Backwoods in here because that's actually the dual land that starter deck uses. And I also put a couple Bleeding Woods in here too. Actually just terrific budget dual lands, huh? Honorable mentions. So hard-hitting question. Definitely a card to consider for a deck list like this. Thought about going the dowsing device route, not this time round. If we did, I probably would have went the patchwork banner route as well. That could have been pretty cool, huh? So Intrepid Paleontologist. So when I was putting the deck list together to be budget friendly, I had to make a decision between the Paleontologist, which is a rare, or the Hatcher. And I'm opting for the Hatcher because of that haste. And I think that haste is really going to come in handy with that Mastercraft. So Paleontologist is one, though, if you have in your collection, it's going to be a great trade-in. Scytheclaw Raptor is a budget 3-drop to think about. Same thing with a Thrashing Brontodon. Cactus Folk Sure Shot could have been really neat in here too. A way to give some powerful creatures haste. Earth Shaker Dreadmaw could have been neat on the top end. Like no cards draw packed in, but a lot of deck thinning. So hopefully we're fine and dandy. Let's see this one, Quake Strider Ceratops. I don't know if this is new or if it's a reprint, but boy, that's a lot of power. So sending this to the discard on the Lattice could have been pretty cool to eventually pick this up with the craft ability. And then a great trade-in land for this deck list is probably going to be the Verge, since we're grabbing so many basics and then also rocking the commercial district too. Okay, guys. Oh my goodness. And for some reason, there's more to go over. Maybe I should go over it at the end though, huh? Because what I want to talk about, I'll just go over it real quick, right? Dynamite. This is the starter build. Hulking Raptor, Hammerskull, Trumpeting Carnosaur, Commercial District, all one-ofs in that deck list. Cool stuff. Ancient Discovery. There's the Bonehoard Dracosaur. There we go. Okay, that didn't take too long, right? All right, let's go ahead, take this into some ranked and see how we do. Right into that first game. What am I expecting from the build? Hopefully, it's decent. Hopefully. There's a problem, though. I am overdue for a loss, bro. Holy cow, I just came out of the last video on a win streak, so we'll see, huh? A great first hand. We keep this for sure. Yeah, I like this starting hand a lot. We'll go right into Lorekeeper, and we could easily see some more dinos off the top. A lot of dinos packed in, so. There's actually a chance that we go right into a Triumphant Chomp too, though, but... Oh, we went first, though. Cool. I'm down. For some reason, I didn't know we were going first, so I was like, we might have to pick up their first creature with the Chomp. Nope, we're good to go. Yeah, usually this style of budget deck list, I try to avoid usually because everyone's collection looks a little different, so it's going to be like you have to base it on your collection for it to actually be budget, you know what I mean? Maybe we want to pick this up, guys, the Otter. Nah. Let's try to find more. And I don't need more mana right now. But we can send the Bristleback on its own, and finding the forest is probably going to be good enough. So let's actually go the second Saheeli's Lattice here. See what we see. All right, not bad, not bad. No attacks. So guys, what we're seeing a lot of is this Esper deck list that runs Storm Chaser's Talent. It is. It's going to be the Esper version. This is a super scary deck list that goes really fast. And it's very efficient. Like that's a turn 2, guys. That's their second turn. That is a established board state. Okay, Bristling Backwoods. All right. Well, get our tap land down. Belligerent Yearling's fine. I wouldn't mind untapped land go for the Chomp on the Pixie, though. That's probably fine, too. No, we can tap Lorekeeper anyways. So, tapped land. Lorekeeper, right? Red source. Then the mountains, the Triumphant Chomp. Which we didn't need to get the Yearling down first, but this is fine. We should probably take care of the Pixie, but there's probably going to be even better pickups, too. And also, the 1/1 prowess is no joke on the Otters. There's going to be... The issue here, though, is we can't block in the air successfully. They pick up Yearling easy peasy. Looks like we will get to the point where we have the 5 mana on the the Lattice. So, oh yeah, wow. We're only 20 mana packed in. This is terrible. Right, so we could keep the forest cycling open, get our other tapped land down. We could swing or keep an emergency chump blocker, which I suppose is fine, but they do have a lot of removal packed in. Bristleback to the grave. All right. Emergency chump blocker, just in case, guys, just in case. Thinning the deck list is going to be pretty essential here. Hopeless Nightmare. Let's do the... It doesn't really matter, but the forest, because we're going to grab another forest anyways, is fine. Down to 12. Another mana. Is tapped land, which is great news for us. Oh, they're actually passing it back. I'm surprised by that, guys. Let's do that forest cycling. Oh, we could also grab the commercial district too, but I don't think we're going to value that right now. We'll just grab the forest. Another Nurturing Bristleback is not terrible. Yeah, we don't have haste. Don't have haste on the Saheeli's Lattice or the Mastercraft Raptor, right? But it's still probably worth doing, right? You can only craft as a sorcery. I say we do it, man. We do it. It's an 8/4. It's not terrible. It's too bad we don't have the Yearling on the board, but it's a good chunky creature. It doesn't get picked up by like nowhere to run, which is great news. But it does get bounced back to hand. But the good news here is we can now use the Saheeli's Lattice ability again. We'll definitely discard the mountain. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If we don't block with Lorekeeper... Crap, I wish we weren't discarding, but... Maybe we just try to play the Bristleback. Hope that Lorekeeper survives. We take 6 from the Otters. This is super risky, man. I don't know if that's the right play at all. But maybe just casting the Bristleback and actually having the extra 3/3 around is a little better. Down to 4. All right, we play our 7th. Yes, Nurturing Bristleback. Let's go. All right. So a couple potential blockers here that actually block really well into the Otters. We'll see what ends up happening though. This deck list definitely runs all 4. This town ain't big enough. As far as I know, at least. I shouldn't say definitely, because we actually don't know, but it does seem to be the card of choice. Oh, they grab it back. Oh, thank goodness it's a tapped land. Thank goodness, bro. We're still in this. I can't believe it. Trumpeting Carnosaur is excellent, dude. Woo, buddy, that's good. That's really good. We're playing that. Before combat, it's a Bushwhack. That's not bad at all, is it? Fight, and we will fight Carnosaur into Siren, because again, we're going to really struggle to block in the air. They're going to have a bounce with this town ain't big enough. They're going to bounce the token probably. Are we forced to keep everything back? Probably, because if they top deck one piece of removal, we're going to die. Or another thing that hits our face. Or, yeah, we have to keep all the blockers back. This town ain't big enough. Bounces the Hopeless Nightmare. Bounces our token. They play Hopeless Nightmare. Sheltered by Ghost. They do top deck that other piece of removal. That's insane, guys. So they pick up the Trumpeting Carnosaur. And then, yeah, this town ain't big enough. Bounce the token. And then play the Hopeless Nightmare. Oh, they actually decide... Oh, they find lethal with the removal on the Nowhere to Run. I overlooked that, guys. Look at that. It was all too easy for the opponent, huh? Good game. Yeah, I think I would have overlooked that. Well, I did. But I'm saying if I was playing that deck list, I probably would have bounced the Hopeless Nightmare just to like get the 2 through without worrying about the blockers. But of course, yeah, bouncing the Nurturing Bristleback, then going -3/-3 on the token. See, my thought process was bounce the token because you're not actually bouncing anything back. Then we're forced to just discard our last card in hand, which is the Yearling, taking 2 there. But then we still would have had 2 blockers available, so opponent found lethal with their line of play. That was, like, that wasn't bad, was it? Like, we were okay overall against that version of Esper. Whew, buddy. It knows how to do the thing, and it does it really well, doesn't it? Yeah, the overall suggestion in the comments was actually budget dinos with that's actually competitive, and that's asking for a lot, bro. Like I like who knows if it's actually going to be competitive, but hopefully I landed on a budget version or a budget enough version. But again, it's going to be pretty essential to whatever you have in your collection as well. But I did try to base it, of course, off of the decks that Arena gives us right out the gates. So hopefully I did well enough there. It's a great hand. This is really good. We're probably going to discard. Depending on if we top deck mana, the discard might be the Seismic Monstrosaur. But if we top deck like a 3-mana dino, then I might end up skipping Llanowar Elves and going for Lorekeeper for now. Sleep Cursed Fairy, huh? Oh, there's our 3-mana dino. Yeah, I'll go Lorekeeper, because I'd rather keep Llanowar Elves around, so getting the Lorekeeper down, we might run right into a counterspell next turn anyways. We keep the 2 islands open, yeah. Well, we still try it though, right? Yeah, there's no way we don't try this. As long, and maybe we can just keep getting counterspells out of the opponent's hand. That also means if they didn't have a counterspell, they also could have taken a stun counter off the Sleep Cursed Fairy too, which is equally as scary in some cases. Another Sleep Cursed Fairy. Uh-oh. Right, with the ward too, it's not like we're going to be activating the Trumpeting Carnosaur's ability here. Saheeli's Lattice is the best bet, I would say. But we'd want to get the mountain down. That way we could still play the Llanowar Elves for the turn. I believe we end up discarding the Monstrosaur and not valuing the mountain cycling on it right now. Or it could be the commercial district too, but I think it's the Monstrosaur. Okay, not bad. Not bad, huh? I'll keep the Bristleback open. Or we could go... No. I'll keep the Bristleback open. How do you guys feel about that? I hope that's okay. Okay, they get the last stun counter off the first Sleep Cursed Fairy so they can start swinging in the air here. Fairy tempo should be pretty scary business, man. But yeah, thinning the deck list here. Grabbing another forest. That's an untapped land. Get 1 step closer to the Carnosaur too. Seems really good. Eyeglass Siren, map token. Still got 2 mana open. Looks like it's going to be the map token. That's great news. So no counterspell for next turn. So hopefully we can pull off something awesome. Alright, forest cycling. Let's grab that forest. Untapped forest. Alright. Another Carnosaur is not bad at all, guys. So we do have commercial district. Or, yeah, 1, 2, that's 5. Towards dinos. It's commercial district, though, for the turn. Hopefully we get to keep the Lorekeeper around for the turn that we want to play Carnosaur. Don't need more mana, I'm going to send it. Okay, now we have the option between Itzquinth. Pay the extra 2 if we tap the Lorekeeper first. That's probably pretty good. Let's see what happens. It lands. pay the extra 2 and hit the Spyglass Siren, which is pretty important, right? That's a lot of flyers in the air. Can't block, so we swing. It's a good turn, dude. It was. And now on turn 5. Well, number 1, if we get to keep the Lorekeeper around, we'll have Carnosaur, right? Well, maybe. They have 3 mana, 3 cards open. Or we could activate the Lattice ability, have a huge, chunky Mastercraft Raptor, which doesn't have haste right now. I'm pretty sure it's Carnosaur. We do it before combat because it could easily affect combat here. I'm on the edge of my seat, opponent. What you got? What you got? Luckily, we have another Carnosaur in hand, too. So if it's a counterspell for this one, holy cow, it lands. Come on, something big. Woohoo! Yes, let's get the Hatcher on the board. Like I said, it could easily affect combat here. This is going to be a great turn. Great swing. Oh no, spell stutter. Oh, my heart, opponent. I'm surprised they didn't just counter the Carnosaur then, right? I guess, what does the opponent benefit from there by waiting? Is there something I'm missing? Like, why not just counter the Carnosaur, you know? I might be missing something, but man, I was so excited. That was such a good discover on the Carnosaur. Well, we could do it again, huh? Sleep Cursed Fairy. We're on a clock. Attempt Carnosaur again before combat. I guess, right? Also, the other Itzquinth could be fine. We could pay the 2 and have the Carnosaur fight the Sleep Cursed Fairy while still having the... No, we wouldn't have the ward. Wait. Would we have the ward too? Speaking of not having ward 2, right now we don't have ward 2, so we put that into our hand. What do they got? Baybloom Trick. Oh, nice, nice. They get to tap a creature. Carnosaur's tapped. I go for the swing. They could chump or just take the 2 down to 14. We're on a clock, dude. We have 1 turn to figure this out. It's too bad that when we power up the Mastercraft, we don't have haste, or it's too bad we don't have a Yearling on the board. No, they're going to restock their hand fully here with an Enduring Curiosity. Drawing 4 is terrifying, man. Yearling, you're a turn late. We can still do this. We can still do this. We're going to go Chomp on the Curiosity. Comes back. I don't know yet. They didn't have tempo. All right, guys, we got there. That was scary. Our deck list was totally performing. The double Carnosaur was excellent, excellent business. Cool. Yeah, we're seeing a huge problem right now with how slow the Mastercraft Raptor can actually be. Missing that haste is actually pretty rough. But also, if it had haste by default, first of all, that would be disgusting. That would be actually really good, probably, right? Them getting rid of the Hatcher, that could have been a way to give that other Raptor haste. And then also Yearling was a little bit late too. If we could have had this down and established already, then we would have considered the craft on the Raptor, which what would it have been at that point? 5, 11, 17 power, and I forget if the Hatcher was already in the grave or not, but if it was, 22 power on the Mastercraft Raptor. And then if you had Yearling out, of course, then you would give that power to the Yearling too. Cool. All right. Honestly, guys, if that was the only victory, I'm okay with that. So far, the deck list is like the curve of the deck list, the feel, the vibes I'm getting. Feels all right so far, doesn't it? Yeah, we'll keep the ball rolling and see if we can roll it into some more victories, but it's okay if we don't. Mountain cycling on the Monstrosaur could be our turn too. I say we risk it and try it, right? What do you guys think about that? Because we could also get drawn into a red source, get the Yearling down, or the Itzquinth, but we probably want to save that for potential removal. It's a forest. Okay. Excuse me, guys. there's no reason to do this on our turn, right? We wait till the end of their turn. Okay, well, while they're tapped out too, we could also do that. Get it out of the way. So grabbing a mountain is fine, because an untapped mountain for turn 3 Cindermaw is pretty good when they have Elasil Core. Haha, you can't gain life, opponent. What now? What now, they say, is spot removal. Gnawing Vermin. See who they mill here. Probably... Okay, they are milling themselves. Hinterland Sanctifier. Oh, Cindermaw's gonna put in some work, huh? Ah, Duskrose Reliquary. Crap. Goodbye, Cindermaw. Goodbye. You did your best. Okay. Another mana. Okay. Actually, the second red source is really good, isn't it? So it deals damage equal to its power to another. So you're not fighting with the Itzquinth ability. So instead of doubling down on Yearling, which could have been pretty cool, I think we gotta remove the Elasil Core, right? And we get a good swing. Not bad, dude. This should be terrifying. The opponent's deck list should be absolutely terrifying to us. Okay, they have a Bartolome in hand. And Starscape Cleric. Okay. Yep. I see. Now what? Pass it on back. Bonehoard Dracosaur, really good, but I think we go right into the Hatcher and try to set up with the Dracosaur next turn. Maybe it actually has haste too. Also, doubling down on Yearlings, trying to get those nice and chunky beforehand as well. I think it's just Hatcher though. While we have the 5, while the opponent's tapped out, we get this down. Because the Yearlings will also have haste if the Hatcher gets to stick around. And let's not forget, Starscape Cleric cannot block. So it's a good swing for the turn. They decide not to do anything fancy with the Bartolome, which is good news. See, they could have blocked Bartolome into Itzquinth, sacrificed the Starscape, but then it would have been a pretty bad trade for them, I would say. Oh, a really bad trade for them as they flood the board with more creatures and creatures that do not mind being sacrificed. Thank goodness we got rid of the Elasil Core. Wow, Seismic Monstrosaur. That's pretty cool. But it's definitely the Bonehoard for the turn, right? That's going to be a huge problem for the opponent. Now they do have some good blocks here. That's not going to stop me, bro. We'll keep Hatcher back. It's not going to stop me from a full swing with everything else, because I think we're going to be in danger if we don't really push here. And if they get those good blocks, which we know that they have, then they're going to at the very least be losing some of their creatures. Well, they have the Infestation Mage sacrifice, trade into the 3/3. They're not taking 3 there. Then they can sacrifice the token on this Infestation Sage to get it up to a 4/3. No, they just accept the trade into oh, there it is. It was a good trade for us. Sacrificing the Cleric and the Insect could have kept the Bartolome around. There's our answer, right? They had the second Bartolome. Another Starscape Cleric as well. Thank goodness we got rid of that Elasil Core, man. Holy cow. Hatcher is sticking around, which is going to be very deadly for the opponent, pretty much no matter what we see here. Treasure token. But, I mean, look at that. Carnosaur. Wow. That's good. Let's see what we see. GG opponent. Feels good, man. Feels good. All right. Yeah, let's keep the ball rolling. Okay, now for real though, win or lose, I'm pretty darn satisfied, man. Yeah, for what it is. I think if we lose 2 more games in a row, I'll probably still be satisfied with how the deck list performed. So everything's like feeling all right. The draws feel really good even, right? So yeah, cool. And I was like fully anticipating some brutal games because I I was just overdue for some losses, you know? So sometimes things work out, though. Guys, while I have you here in the middle of the video, by the way. Oh, hold on. I don't want to hold up the opponent here. We keep this. This would be a weird mulligan because Carnosaur kind of counts as removal when it comes time too. So we'll see if that actually comes into play. And Nurturing Bristleback can help us find more mana too. So opponent, play a little slower, buddy. Play just a little slower for me. That way I could talk about what I want to talk about. Let's get the other Bristleback Woods down and just use the Triumphant Chomp for the turn on the Siren. That might not be the greatest thing, but with Itzquinth potentially picking up more of their other pirates, that would be fine, I think. I hope, right? And also Carnosaur too, if we want that. Oh, Percussionist. Lethal Demolition. Wow, that's good. That's really good for them. Bonehoard Dracosaur. Bristleback. We'll keep Carnosaur, Bristleback open. Maybe grab some land. Let's see what happens here. Anyways, guys, hey, while I have you here in the middle of the video, make sure you check out that description. We do have that Discord link, as well as that Patreon link too, if you're interested in joining either of those up and supporting the channel that way. But then also, guys, with the YouTube side of things. Ow, my face. Anyways, YouTube side of things, if you like the video, make sure you actually drop it a like. And if you enjoy the channel, then consider subscribing because it really does help out the channel. So thank you guys. That's hard to go over while actually playing the game too. So the 4th untapped land is fine. We want it to be untapped. That way we can go right into the Itzquinth to pop one of their 1/1s. Not the Percussionist probably, but it also, Llanowar Elves would be pretty good here too, but this is okay. We're going to keep the Itzquinth as a blocker as well. All right. Pop a Goblin. Keeping as a blocker. Yeah, the opponent's going wide. Jeskai go wide should be very scary. Reinforcements coming down. If they find a boost for this board state, like an Emodane's Recruiter. Oh, Case is pretty good too. Because they're going to flip the case. Not flip it, I always do that. They're going to solve the case. Whoop, buddy. They decide Knight Errant of Eos is more valuable than solving the case. We're in danger, dude. We're in a lot of danger here. They see a Warden and a Novice. Another Trumpeting Carnosaur. Uh-oh. Carnosaur doesn't hit the 4/4. If we pop one of their 1/1s, that's not that great. So we just keep the Carnosaur ability open for their turn. Get the Llanowar Elves established. Last turn, maybe we should have established the Elves and tried something else. Oh, crap, dude. Emodane's Recruiter. Are we going to be forced to block here? 2, 3, 4, 5. Carnosaur. They got 15 damage on the board, guys. Ah, man. So we're going to lose the Elves. Go down to 4. And now we need to see a 5th mana, but that's not going to be enough to do it. It's going to be tap land too. Oh, no. All right, let's let the opponent play it on out. This time round, they did solve it too. So, wait a minute. When did they? Oh, they solved it at the end. I was getting confused because the Recruiter also boosted. All right, good game, opponent. Yeah, they took care of us pretty cleanly there. That was, maybe that was a mulligan. It was a much slower hand than I was anticipating. First of all, we didn't get punished for playing an early Triumphant Chomp by any means, because they just played a bunch of 1/1s anyways. They had a great lineup overall, but that's not going to be an unheard of lineup from Jeskai Go Wide, or like Boros Go Wide, same concept, right? With Jeskai, what they're enabling, like the Spyglass Siren, really cool addition there, because the map token, of course, can be popped for the Gleeful Demolition. It can be tapped for the Warden. What else are they rocking when they splash blue into the Boros Go Wide, guys? What else do they have in there that is blue? Potentially other artifacts too, like the vehicle. that I can't remember the name of right now. Mountain cycling on the Seismic Monstrosaurs. Cool. Cool hand. I'm trying it. You guys think we'll be okay? Llanowar Elves, get down! Get down, hide! Wow, good job, Llanowar Elves. Holy cow. I was so positive it was going to be a cut down. Invasion of Gabakon. Don't make fun of my hand, opponent. Look away. It's not what it looks like. You're making fun of me, aren't you, opponent? No, it's not having the second land because it's so risky, dude. But it's cool. It's like I don't know. There's something cool about the mountain cycling and all that other nonsense, you know? How about we forest cycle, huh? Play the other Llanowar Elves. Let's do it. Let's do it. Oh, we could also, like, Commercial District's pretty darn good too, though. And similar concept if we would have done that with the Monstrosaur. I'm sticking to the plan, dude. Let's do it. Opponent's tapped out too. Other Llanowar Elves is kind of excellent. Now, if we top deck an untapped red source, we might have Bonehoard Dracosaur, which keeping a hand with 1 mana and then leading into a potential early Bonehoard is kind of crazy. I don't know what we're up against, but it looks like they're trying to empty our hand a little bit, right? Let's see. Mountain cycling. Sure, I'll tap our normal lands because there's a chance that we swing with the Llanowar Elf. Mountain. Do this before combat. Just in case if we swing with Llanowar Elf and they pop the untapped Llanowar Elf, then we'd miss the Yearling play. Nowhere to run. Okay, this is the Esper deck list that we've been seeing, I guess. The one that likes to bounce their own cards. But they're missing some of their creatures, I guess, right? I'd love to get this Bonehoard Dracosaur down. It's crazy to me how well things are actually playing out here. Gold Pan. Enters, create a treasure token, equipped creature gets +1/+1, equip for 1. Cool. Yeah, it's definitely the deck list that likes bouncing their own things. Oh, guys, I don't have double red on the board. Oh, no. Oh, we still have a really cool turn, I guess. Getting multiple creatures down is kind of excellent, right? We'll do that. Because Hammerskull was a really good draw. It would be cool to wait, but it not worth the wait, right? Because going wide when they're missing creatures is kind of important. All right, we need an untapped red source off the top. It's kind of my fault for not actually grabbing one of the Surveil land off of all the cycling that we did. We did 2 different cycles. I grabbed a forest because of greed, and I grabbed a mountain because I wanted an untapped source for the turn. So if I would have just grabbed one of the Surveil land and a mountain, we would have had double red for the Dracosaur for the turn. So that is significant and definitely something to think about. Dude, if we can pull off this last victory, I'll be just super satisfied. Hammerskull, get down! Run! Ah! I'm sure Hammerskull has a huge target on its back, dude, so this being a big old chunky 6/6 should be pretty scary. Town ain't big enough. Oh, cool. That works out. Works out in our favor. We can play Hammerskull, boost the Yearling. Now, if we miss the red source, right? Oh, invasion. Grab the Hammerskull. I wasn't even thinking that they... Oh! They grabbed the Dracosaur. Yeah, without the double red. So everything kind of worked out. Lorekeeper helps us cast the Dracosaur, but now we're 2 mana away from it too. Or 1 mana if Lorekeeper survives. So I guess we dump everything onto the board, right? Take that action for sure. Lorekeeper, get it set up just in case we top deck mana. And just in case for some reason, if like, yeah, if they don't have removal, just get everything onto this board. Are we getting lucky, guys? Where's their creatures? GG opponent. Let's go. I'll take the victory, bro. I'll take it. Dude, let's end on a high note, huh? If that was the Esper deck list that we've been going up against, this one is brutal, man. It's so efficient, and we're seeing a lot more of it, I think for a very good reason. I think it was that deck list. They were missing some creatures, but also we were swarming the board quite efficiently here, I would say. The Invasion of Gabakhan, I don't know if we usually see this in those Esper deck lists. Same thing with the Gold Pan, but I do like these additions, opponent. Very cool. I completely overlooked the fact that they were going to exile something, but since they missed the fact that Hammerskull was the better exile, all right. That being said, they don't know what's in our deck list. They still might have decided Dracosaur because of the fact we could have top-decked a red source, which would have been a much better play for us for that turn if we did, but we were missing the red source, so I'm making assumptions here, but the opponent doesn't know what we're playing either, so yeah. Cool stuff, man. Let's go over this deck list again real quick here. Budget-friendly dinos. How did I do, guys? Did I do all right with budget-friendly? Let's do some rearranging and talk about this. Budget-friendly. Here's our commons. Also, ignore the apply styles. That's just it's yelling at me to put the fancy pants version of Llanowar Elves on, but the fancy pants version of Llanowar Elves didn't feel very budget, so I wanted to play with like just the normal version. We got uncommons. Bushwhack is common. Uncommon is Chomp. Yearling's uncommon. Lattice is uncommon. Uncommon Itzquinth. Then we have our rares. Uncommon is Giant Cindermaw. Rare is Hammerskull. Hulking Raptor, which we didn't see today, but I think it would still be worth the 2 of. Palani's Hatcher. Carnosaur. Then we have more commons with all 4 Bristlebacks and all 4 Monstrosaurs. Commons in the Backwoods land, the Bleeding Woods land, and then more rares with the Commercial District as well. As far as the rares go, I talked about this a bit at the beginning, and I actually showed you guys the starter deck lists. The Dynamite starter deck list has a lot of these rares as one-ofs. It has 1 Commercial District, it has 1 Hammerskull, it has 1 Raptor, and it has 1 Carnosaur as well. If that's all you want to play, if you don't want to craft any of the other rares, then at the beginning of the video, I had a whole bunch of honorable mentions over here, potential trade outs that you could play with instead, and other honorable mentions too made the cut as well. But yeah, so number 1, if you are playing with dinos, I would say that the second Carnosaur is worth the craft, period. And that being said too, it's too bad Hatcher did not come in that Dynamite starter deck. I opted for 2 of them anyways. I do think it is going to be pretty important in here, especially when you're rocking a couple of the Carnosaurs too. However, one of the honorable mentions was not a cat, a cactus. Cactus Folk Sure Shot. 4 mana, 4/4, reach, ward 2. At the beginning of combat on your turn, other creatures you control with power 4 or greater gain trample and haste. There's a budget trade out for the Palani's Hatcher, right? I suppose. I think Hatcher is going to be much, much better in this deck list. It is, in fact, a dinosaur. The eggs really come in handy. When you're popping the eggs for 3/3s, those also really come in handy. You can't ramp into the Sure Shot off of our Lorekeeper, so that's noteworthy, right? You can ramp into the Hatcher off the Lorekeeper. Cactus Folk Sure Shot does not increase the Triumphant Chomp damage. Hatcher does, right? So you guys can see there's a lot of things here. But outside of that, maybe you don't like Sure Shot either. Well, other ways to give haste to your creatures that are budget friendly would be the Bitter Reunion. Here we go. So this one is just a common. And this is another way to plug extra things into your graveyard as well. Again, For some reason, I didn't put this in the honorable mentions. That's super weird, right? But anyways, this could be a great way if you had extra mana, especially. See, it's 5 mana to craft the Mastercraft Raptor, unfortunately. 5 mana is pretty darn steep. But we're grabbing a lot of mana out of the deck list anyways. We're ramping well with Llanowar Elves. It's too bad that the Lorekeeper can't actually activate or help us ramp into that 5 mana for the Lattice. That's why we're opting for 3 Lorekeepers instead of 4 too. And there's going to be other moments too where you only see your Lorekeepers and your Elves. Well, that's no good, right? So just 7/1 drops that help us ramp is probably better in this particular deck list than all 8 1 drops that would help us ramp, right? Anyways, guys, if you had the 5 mana for the Saheeli's Lattice and an extra mana to give it haste off the Bitter Reunion, I mean, that's a lot of mana at that point, but I guess it's not going to be completely unheard of, especially when you're also drawing into more mana off the Bitter Reunion, drawing into more mana off the Saheeli's Lattice, and then, of course, mana fixing with all the cycling, too. So, yeah, Bitter Reunion, another budget trade-out if you don't like the Hatcher. That being said, if you're really desperate for dinosaurs, I don't think that the Palani's Hatchers is going to be a bad craft by any means. That being said, too, if you are looking for a budget deck list, dinosaurs might not be the best way to go budget just in general, but the suggestion specifically was budget dinos. That's competitive. I don't know if we hit the competitive mark, but we did pretty good today. I don't think, if we kept playing, I do think the win rate is definitely going to go down. But it played out all right. And it would probably balance a little under a 50%. It depends what meta you're up against, though, too. If you're a player and you're just starting out, I don't know, dude, you probably do pretty well with this. But it really depends. More testing required for sure. Guys, let me know down in the comments, do you guys like this style of budget, by the way? Like I said, somewhere in the early video, I brought up I don't like to play this style of budget because everyone's collection looks a little bit different. And it's really hard to say like, oh, use your last 2 rare wild cards on a Hatcher, because I wouldn't. I would never do that. If they were my last 2 rare wild cards, I would definitely just drop this and go up something that my collection actually has and save those rare wild cards for the future. But that's me, so I don't know. That being said, hopefully I did well enough. Let's go look at the starter deck lists again, right? In Dynamite, it also had the Bristling Backwoods. So that's a common that you don't have to craft to. I ran all 4 of the Bristling Backwoods, which is totally fine. But some direct upgrades to the deck list would just be actually going up some better dual land. If you have it, you go up the better dual land. The Verge is one to consider for this deck list for sure. I think the Verge would be perfect. Other than that, what else do we got in here, guys? 2 Itzquinth. That's an uncommon that you don't have to craft for this deck list. Comes with the starter deck. Perfect, right? Any other uncommons or commons? No, just the rares that I keep bringing up, right, as the one-ofs. It's too bad that the starter decks didn't give us more than one of each. Like, 2 Hammerskulls. Would it really have hurt that much to give us 2 Hammerskulls in this starter deck list? You know what I mean? No, they just went for 1 instead. Also, a Ghalta on the top end of the starter deck. That's kind of cool, but I think it would be pretty unnecessary for the deck list that we put together here. Earthshaker Dreadmaw also made the honorable mentions. So if you do go up an Earthshaker Dreadmaw, that's another uncommon that you don't have to craft. And I do know that when you're trying to play budget, I do know that the uncommons, the uncommons dwindle very fast. So that's all something to consider as well. Also, Bleeding Woods is going to be just a great budget land in general, but there's a reason I didn't opt for like all 4 of these instead. Because at the very least, number 1, Backwoods is dealing that extra damage, but again, even common wild cards dwindle down pretty fast when you're trying to play on a budget, so just actually playing the Backwoods that the game already gave us 4 of for that starter deck made a lot of sense to me. outside of that, Giant Cindermaw felt right. There's a lot of life gain in Standard right now. Giant Cindermaw is kind of a dinosaur that might be a little bit overlooked, honestly. Too bad it's a 4/3, so it gets picked up by like Lightning Strike and everything too, but or Nowhere to Run with the -3/-3, or there's a lot that actually picks up 3 toughness creatures, unfortunately. But the other dinos at 3 mana though, that are also budget friendly. Oh, I guess you know what, Thrashing Brontodon with the 4 toughness might be a little better, but also double green might be a little greedy for what this mana base is trying to do too. Outside of that, the Scytheclaw Raptor is also just a 4/3. Opting for a trampling creature that prevents the life gain just makes a little bit more sense to me. But guys, again, you have to base it on your collection because the Cindermaw is in fact an uncommon. So if you don't have these, but you do have a couple of the Scytheclaw Raptors, well, then you're just going to want to play with the Scytheclaw Raptors. Save your uncommon wild cards, right? It's a little silly to me that Triumphant Chomp wasn't included in Dynamite, the starter deck. That's a little weird, right? It wasn't, was it? Back and forth and back and forth. No, it wasn't. It's weird, right? It's super weird. That would have been nice to be like another uncommon that you didn't have to craft, but let me see here. Yeah, there's the Bonehoard Dracosaur, so you don't have to craft that. That's in the Ancient Discovery starter deck, right? Goblins everywhere. What's in here? Okay, Shock is in here, so you could potentially, instead of the... what else? Outlaw. Let's see. Okay. So a potential trade out if you're trying to save some uncommons. Okay, Shock is actually over here too, in the second chance. Okay, that's interesting. I see a Braid as well. A Braid is also in this deck list. Okay. Back to the budget-friendly dinos. If you don't want to craft the Triumphant Chomp, because it's another uncommon in the deck list, first of all, it's going to be pretty darn good, I would say, for this deck list. But if you don't want this, you could go up those Shocks that we just found out of the other starter decks, right? Go up 3 Shocks, and that would probably be fine. I mean, it would do the thing a little bit, but you could go up 2 Shocks and then go up that Abrade as well, since Abrade actually does 3 damage to something. Changes the curve a little bit. Shouldn't affect too much in here, though. The 20 mana felt pretty good with all the extra cycling abilities and whatnot, right? I think so. Also, if we do the full deck list rearranging, bottom ability on Carnosaur, put that as a 3-drop, and put the cycling in the 2-drop spot, then all of a sudden the curve looks a lot different. Actually, looks like a really clean curve when you put it up like that, which is probably why, one of the reasons why it felt so clean in those matches too. Oh, buddy, a lot of stuff to say here. Again, let me know in the comments, did I do all right? Is this actually budget friendly enough? Definitely let me know in the comments. Guys, what would you add or take out? What are some other upgrades outside of just like upgrading the mana base with some Verge? What would you add or take out? Let me know. If you made it this far into the video for real, y'all are champions. I super duper appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video.